Hello, Charles Van Morgan. I'm on the campaign trail running for Knoxville City Council District Seat 1. Today I want to talk briefly about Israel a little bit. I know that's national politics, but still got something to say about that. It's a war going on and affects us all. And also I'm going to talk about that's a business I just went in. I promised I was going to buy some coffee in there, and I'm going to. And I'm going to talk about the comment I got from the person that sent me on the confidential comments page thing I got. You can go on Facebook and go to it, and whatever comments you want to send me, good, bad, ugly, I read them all and listen to them and use what I can. So I'll talk about one of the comments, and then I'm going to talk about something going on behind the scenes of Knoxville City government. They were on TV the other day showing you this area right here and bragging about how it's a major improvement. It don't look like improvement yet to me. And let's walk across the road up here to crosswalk, and I'm going to walk somewhere else and show you something else. So first, again, this is Charles Van Morgan, Facebook Live. Come on in, and appreciate y'all listening to me. Thank you, Knoxvillians. I've talked to literally hundreds and hundreds, and y'all are very nice people. Thank you so much. This gets to be, door knocking gets to be pretty fun when you run into some great people. A lot of them just tell me my campaign because they already know the government's crooked. But first, let's talk about the nation of Israel. You know, they are at war right now, being attacked by Iran, and there's a lot of hatred towards Israel, towards the Jews. And I pray for the peace of Israel. That's my prayer. And I hope that America helps Israel. I know there's a lot of people that try to keep us out of foreign wars and all this stuff, you know, but there is a point where you have to defend yourself, and Iran is making nuclear weapons and enriching uranium, and they're going to be a threat to America. So I don't know what form it should take, but I know that we should help Israel, because there is a promise in the Bible that'll bless them that bless you and curse them that curse you. So we need to be on the side of truth and righteousness. Jesus Christ came through the Jewish people. Now, they're not better than us, but they're God's chosen people for whatever reason, and we need to respect that and be on their side when they're doing right. And they're doing right by defending themselves. I wouldn't have respect for a nation that was too cowardly to defend themselves. So I'm not surprised that they're taking action, which they should. And let's all pray for the peace of Israel and for the people in Iran, that they will take hold of their government and stop the unnecessary enrichment of uranium in that oppressive government. So I just wanted to mention that about Israel. You know, I have heard a lot of different things about Israel, and you have a lot of protests here in Knoxville. One of the things that we can do is freedom of speech is people's rights. They can protest Jewish people all day long on the sidewalks, peaceably in public. There are time, place, and manner restrictions. We shouldn't let them do it at 3 in the morning yelling with a megaphone. That's against the noise ordinance. They got a right. I don't see it the way they do. And we got a right to see who they are and make sure that that's all it is protest. And we should use our police department to investigate, make sure the protesters don't step over the line. And the minute they step over the line, they are terrorists, and we need to take action. So let them protest. I mean, that's fine. Gives us a chance to see who they are if they want to stick their ugly head out. So that's what Knoxville can do about protecting Jewish people. Stop the violence against them here in Knoxville. So I've heard that, and someone told me that the Jewish people in Israel aren't really the descendants of Jesus, and we don't need to have anything to do with them. They're not the descendants of Jesus. And that is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. You ought to be ashamed of yourself for saying that. You know who you are, because if that's not the descendants of Jesus, the people in Israel, the Jewish people, that's not Jesus' bloodline, and the Bible is true. I take it people even say that, believe the Bible to be true. Then where are the Jewish people at? Where are they at? You can't tell me where they're at, but I can tell you where they're at. They're in Israel. The Jewish people are in Israel. They're descendants of Jesus, and it's a very strong warning. So if I was you, people claim to fear God, fear the Bible, I'd be very careful what I thought off the top of my head that I thought I was being cool, or what I read, because there's a lot of misinformation out there that leads people to hate Jewish people, and they attempt to annihilate them. And there's a lot of propaganda, and I don't believe 1 minute of it. So I would ask you, if that's your belief, I wouldn't want to walk in your shoes, because God has a warning for you. Now that's what I believe, and that's what I know. I stand with Israel, the nation of Israel. I'm an American, but I believe America standing with Israel is a blessed America. So we need to stop the propaganda. I'm not going to listen to it. Don't tell me that again. I don't want to hear it. It's wrong, and you're gonna get yourself in trouble saying stuff like that. Not by me, by God, because God's the judge, and I'm not telling you what I'm saying. I'm telling you what God's word says. So if they're not the children of Israel over there, then you tell me where they're at. That's where they're at. That's just a cover up so that we won't help those people over there that are trying to defend themselves. So let's talk about the comment now, turning the page, that I got on my confidential page. People send me confidential messages where it's untraceable to who they are, and I don't blame them, because if you support me openly, sometimes, not all the time, the government's oppressive. I'm standing against the government. They could impact you. That's why you should vote privately. And call your friends, yeah. But some of you, if you're in government service, I wouldn't publicly speak out on my behalf, because the government's going to punish you, just like they've tried to punish me for my First Amendment right that I'm going to use anyway. So let's talk about the confidential comment. It was from a political consultant, and they said that they heard about me through a friend. So friends calling friends works. So keep calling your friends, advertising the campaign. Charles Van Morgan for city council, and we'll see where we can go from there, show electability. And the comment was that I need to differentiate myself from the other candidates, and to say why I'm running for public office. So there's two things: differentiate myself from other candidates, and say why I'm running for public office. And it's very easy to differentiate myself from other candidates. I'm a lot better than the other candidates. And let me explain to you why. Hello. Let me explain to you why. Okay. One of the candidates has got campaign flyers all over Knoxville already. Now, this is a nonpartisan race, which means it's neither Democrat or Republican. But she's got a sign out that's a certain color, and because she's running with that party, that's who's funding her campaign, running. And people are, I'm sure, going to vote for her, not because of her, because of the party. And that's not a good reason to vote for some. Some will. And she is friends with the mayor. And the mayor, if you'll remember, was in Washington during a major snowstorm. He wasn't here in Knoxville managing the storm. Now, I have a college advanced level course in emergency management, specifically to deal with circumstances like that. So I can help out in in a major crisis. And I don't think the mayor or her friend has any training in that. I mean, you might be a good politician and be able to smile real big, but where the rubber meets the road, do you know what you're doing? I do. I made an A in emergency management class. Now, she cannot manage a crisis. She wasn't even here. So, and she was in Washington. So when there's a crisis in Knoxville or any decision that is made at the city council, she's going to rubber stamp what the mayor tells her to do. And the mayor gets her orders from Washington. And she's going to buy your vote, tell you whatever you want to hear. And then when the decisions are made, what her bosses in Washington tell her to do, because that's where she was at during a crisis, and that's where she's going to be at, listening to what they tell her on the phone, listening to what they tell her to do in Washington. And Washington can't run its own city. I don't want it running mine. So the difference between me and her is I'll listen to you. I'll be here during the crisis, and I'll listen to you. It's that simple. They're not going to. Now, they're going to lie to you and tell you that they will. Well, that candidate running against me is running on government accountability. Now, accountability means you come forth with the truth and obey the sunshine law. That the people here in Knoxville, it's your government, you got a right to know what's going on in the government. You got a right to get paperwork and read and figure out what they're doing behind the scenes. And what she did, she went to Louisiana and hired a police chief from Louisiana, hired a third party to get around the sunshine laws, where it was done on camera, no recording, no videotapes about his interview, his resume, or anything. And he's the man that's going to have authority over, I think there's over 200 police officers in Knoxville that can come in your house and kill you and get warrants, and they have a lot of influence. We have a right to know who you're hiring. And they're running on accountability. She's running on accountability. She's the mayor's friend. Now, she had to be sued in order to come forward with that information. The mayor, and that's the mayor's friend that's going to rubber stamp whatever she does. So we're accountable. They need to finish that line that's on her campaign flyer. Government accountability. They need to finish that line. Government accountability, if you sue us and force us by court order, then we'll reluctantly, after we've hid stuff that you'll never be able to find, be accountable. Or they weren't really even accountable. So that's not accountability. So I'm accountable. I'll be accountable to you. My life's like an open book. They lie on me and try to say stuff about me that's not true. They're not accountable in that either. I'll be accountable to you. I'll listen to you. And we will do what you say. You're the boss. I'm your servant. So the other candidate is a insurance salesman. Now, excuse me, but insurance salesmen sell insurance and they get a big pocket of money, big bukus of money. You know who gets that money? People that are injured in an accident don't get that money for the most part. Attorneys get that money. Attorneys, so she's making attorneys rich. And attorneys, you know what is 1 million attorneys at the bottom of the ocean? A good start. Now that's a joke. I'm not going to kill 1 million attorneys, but some people might try to accuse me of that. But attorneys, some of them, very few of them are good people. Most of them are dirtbags, especially the ones that sit in this city county building right down here. You can see it. Now, for the most part, maybe one or two of them are good, but for the most part, they're crooks and criminals, thieves, and they rule for the governor who tells them what to decide. Doesn't matter. They'll rule. It's daylight when it's dark, like they did to me. They're crooks. They're crooked people. You won't get a First Amendment hearing. You'll get a hearing, and they'll stomp all over soldiers' blood and rule what the governor, the Christian governor, supposedly, he doesn't run the government like that. He ran on being a Christian to get Christian people's vote because he knows this is a Bible Belt, and then he approved abortion pill, and that stuff is supposed to be decided by people in that area. If you want an abortion, you should go to a state where they have it. People in this area are for the most part against that. So that's the difference between me and her. She's an insurance salesman and she makes attorneys rich. And if you don't think attorneys have the money, it costs a lot to advertise. Who's got all these billboards up? Car salesmen and attorneys have more than they do. So they're making themselves a big bucket. Make it the law that you have to get insurance so that they need more money for them. They're like gluttons. They have so much money. That's even bad for them. They don't even realize it. So I'm really running against them, doing them a favor, because they're going to hurt themselves. One of them got hurt in a car wreck, got hit by a drunk driver. She took me off the road. I arrested more drunk drivers than anybody in the state. Had I still been on the road, a whole lot less likelihood that she'd ever been hit by a drunk driver. Major now, Stacy Heavily, the person who is stealing Valor, and the Highway Patrol still hasn't answered that complaint. And that's really the governor stealing Valor. But that's the difference between me and her. I'm not an insurance salesman. I still get people home safely. And somebody is just going to make a bunch of money for lawyers. The other candidate that's running against me, there's 3 other ones running against me, and I'm the one you need to choose, Charles Van Morgan. I'm differentiating myself again from them. The other candidate, and I get this, it's not funny because it has a serious impact on you if you get elected, because I was part of the government. If you're part of the government, and she's part of the government, if you're part of the government, you can't say what you think. You have to say what they tell you to say. You have to do what they tell you to do, or they take your job from her. So she is working for the government now. They have rules about speaking out against the government. So if the government does something wrong and you're contesting that, she's gonna keep her mouth shut or not speak out against them. She's part of the government now. Do you think that people in government power are doing us right now? So you want more the government running the government? I mean, how ridiculous does that get? And that's the other person running against me. Anybody that's in government now should not be elected to any office, because they're just going to back up the government. I'm not going to back up the government. The difference between me and her is I'm going to back up you. I'm going to do what you say, and if the government goes against it, then I'll point out there's a constitution that protects you from the rogue government, and I'll fight them in court or whatever I need to do. Peaceful protest is a good thing. So that is the difference between me and those candidates, and that's just right off the top. There's a lot more striking differences that you should choose me. Now, the other thing he said, and I try to listen to the comments, is that I should state clearly why I'm running for government office. And he also said that I seem sincere and that he would vote for me, but he lives out in West Knoxville, so I need people Fort Sanders and South Knoxville to vote, and to call your friends and ask them to vote for me. The reason I'm running for public office, and my offer to you, it's very simple, it's not complicated, is to listen to you. And I'm out here knocking on doors every day, hundreds of doors, listening to people. One of the first questions I ask them is do you have any concerns about the city government in this area, good or bad? And so I'm listening, and I get a lot of information. I've gotten a lot of information. I know what to do. And a lot of times they ask me why I'm running. I tell them I'm running to listen to you and to get things done for you, to fight for what you want, not with the major parties or these other people that are going to buy the election and not listen to you. That's why I'm running, to listen to you. Some of the major things that I'm concerned about, if it's all right with the public, I'm your servant, you're not mine if I get elected, is I showed you down there in South Knoxville, a little further, maybe 100 yards down the road, where they're bragging about the improvement that they're making in that area on the sidewalks. They say that they're making better sidewalks and all kinds of stuff. The vice mayor, Tommy Smith, was down there bragging about how they spent money and how it was such a better place. And let me just say, Tommy, could you iron your shirt? I mean, I'm just saying, I iron my clothes. So, yeah, but, oh well. But anyway, about 100 yards from there is the Gay Street Bridge. Now look at this bridge. Now it's been closed down since last June, and they claim that they don't have the money to fix it. And they've got some kind of deal where they're going to partly fix it. And they're going to allow pedestrians, bicycles, and government vehicles to cross this bridge. So me driving in my own car and you driving in your car, we'll be able to walk. Maybe if we behave, we'll be able to walk down this bridge. But they, government officials and government vehicles, the mayor and the mayor's friend that's running against me, will be able to drive, because government vehicles will be able to drive. But I have to walk, you have to walk. We paid for this bridge. The city taxpayers paid for this bridge. They didn't pay for this bridge. They live off tax money. So we can wave at them while they're, say it's 90 degrees on a hot summer day, and we can't drive because it's closed to civilian traffic. We got to walk across this bridge, and we can wave at the mayor and her friend while they're driving in an air-conditioned car across this bridge. We can wave and smile real big. Now, if you vote for her, that's what you're going to get, because read between the lines of the news article that came out is they're going to open it for government vehicles, and they're going to be able to drive, and we can wave at them on a hot day and while they're in an air conditioner. Because what's good for us is not good for them, and they want to do things and not allow us to do it because we're just the public and we're just used to get them elected. So if they can drive across that bridge, then you ought to be able to drive across that bridge. It's been open since 1898, and all of a sudden in June, this administration can't find the money to repair that bridge. And I think they have the money, they just don't want to spend it because they're trying to put us all out on foot, all out on bicycles, and they're going to drive just like they do when they go to these global warming conventions and fly in these airplanes that pollute the earth more than any car that you drive will in a lifetime. I mean, let's have some sense. If they want to shut down traffic on this bridge, it needs to be shut down completely and build another one where everybody can go across it. So that's what I wanted to show you. In closing, again, God bless Israel, and God loves you, and I do too. Until next time, thank you very much.